Hey, it's Richelle Shaw, author of The Million Dollar Equation of How to Build a Business in Las Vegas Without the Casinos. And I am just entrepreneur, having a good time sharing some recent news I saw today. I've just been giggling because whew, there's a lot of things that get reported. So, first thing is can trying to build a business make you crazy? So did you see the woman this morning in honor of my story last week about the weed man and lessons I learned from a drug dealer? I thought she must have watched the video because she came to work this morning as the TV reporter reporting on the company that she actually owned that handles all of the cannabis, and they're connecting the people with the cards with the growers. Yeah, and she quit on camera. Quit on camera. Oh, so my rant about can business make you crazy is okay. So here's the deal. I am pretty much a rebel. Okay? I'm a rebel. I'm a straight no chaser kind of girl. The reason why I'm doing the videos with no makeup, clean face, and my workout shirt on this morning, which, by the way, I have on my Infusionsoft shirt this morning. So shout outs to Infusionsoft. I've been an Infusionsoft member since 2006. So I'm a rebel, and I like to fight back all the time. But let me tell you something about burning a bridge. It never works. You know, now that I'm older, I can look back and go, ooh, yeah, it sounds funny, and it looks funny, and it sounds like you're a badass and that you're showing people, but all it really shows old heads like me is that you obviously have never been through any struggles, because you never know who's seen you on TV, who saw you act up like that. And so, well, you never get an opportunity to fix that and to change that. There's nothing you could say to make people okay with live TV, cursing on live TV when you know that that's not the way to do it. You know, what does that prove? What do you get for doing that? That's what I always look at is what do you get? So a couple of things. One is the very first time I ever got fired. All right, so I am fundamentally unemployable. Okay, but at 18, I had my first job. Absolutely loved it. They loved me, and I was great for the first year. Once I started, you know, figuring things out, I was really kind of annoyed. It wasn't as fun as it was in the beginning, and I'd much rather go fly and see my boyfriend. So I flew to see my boyfriend, and instead of coming back, I called and said that my plane was canceled. Because, like the girl on TV, it was very easy to check to see if my plane was canceled. So my boss, kind of annoyed with me, called to check. And, yep, my plane wasn't canceled. And so they called me and said, hey, Richelle, you know, we understand that your plane wasn't canceled, and we know that you lied to us. And you know what? We just really don't appreciate that. So here's what we want you to do. And before they could get it out, I said, oh, no, you know what? By the way, I quit. I was trying to be like old girl, a badass. Okay. I didn't have another job. I didn't have something else to do. But that's what you do when you're 18 and somebody gets at you. And I'm like, oh, I don't need this job. Well, it was a fabulous job. I spent most of the phone rang like 6 times a day. Okay, so I could spend the majority of the time doing my homework, finishing up all of my college stuff. It was a perfect job. It actually taught me so much about looking at companies, seeing what they did. It was a management consulting firm. It led me and prepared me for what I'm doing today, but I tricked it off because I got mad because they said something crazy to me. Okay, that's what you do when you're a kid. You know, part of building $1 million business is not doing that anymore. It's fun to do it, and there's so many startups that I meet and so many folks that have went to get funding, and have had Series 1 and Series B, and they've done all of those things, you know. And even in the documentary I was in of a guy who was trying to build $1 billion business, so they wanted me to coach him on what he needed, and he had the same type of attitude. And see, what happens when we're entrepreneurs is that nobody believes us, you know, because we have so many failures before we actually get to where things work, or things work immediately and then we screw it up because we start getting really cocky. So the lesson here is, in order to succeed and to be successful for longer than 15 minutes, it's important that you don't get caught up in what people say and do about you. It's important that you don't burn bridges like the girl that said, you know what, just F it. It's important that you're focused on what your end goal is. And even if you've reached that goal, you never know what tomorrow can bring for you. So, they let me quit. And I actually tell this story in my first book, How to Build $1 Million Business, is that my boss brought me in and gave me my last check. And this was, you know, after 2 weeks, and I trained the new girl, and I did everything, and now I'm starting to feel a little nervous about, it's time for me to go. And so he brings me in and he says, you know, I'm just really proud of everything that you learned, and you know, you really were a good employee at first. And I'm positive that you will be an asset to another company. Or, you know, as you grow up, you're gonna regret this decision. He said, but I did a couple things for you. Number one is I paid you, and I didn't take any taxes out, because you're gonna need every nickel, because you did this, you know, not at a good time. I can't imagine why you did this, but I know you're gonna need some extra cash, so I didn't take out any taxes. And he said, but the second thing that I want you to know, after I've told you all these great things, and, you know, I'm just sitting there smiling because I knew that I was an asset to the company. I knew I was good at what I did. Is he said, do you see this glass here with a straw in it? And I said, yeah. And he said, tell me what happens when I take the straw out. So I look at it and I go, oh, I don't know. I don't know what happens when you take the straw. And he said, well, what happens to the water? And I said, well, it just moves back into place. And he said, exactly. That's what happens when you're going to leave, is that everything just moves into place, is that we figure out what we do. It doesn't leave us in a lurch. Everything keeps going. So even though you are amazing and you were great at what you did, life goes on. So I want you to take this as a learning opportunity. And every time you look at a glass, I want you to think about the straw inside it. And so that's my advice to the gal who said, F it, I quit on TV. Even though you're in a small market in Alaska, you see that it's gone viral. It was trending as the top as a Yahoo this morning. And now you just made a huge mistake. Big mistake, as Julia Roberts says. Big, big mistake. And just like that glass, the station will move on. And hopefully they legalize marijuana in Arizona and your business succeeds, because if it doesn't, I think it's going to be really hard for you to go back to what you did. So there's nothing like succeeding, like burning a bridge and having to. So good luck to you, because you're going to need it, just like my boss said to me. All right, so that's my Richelle Rant for today. Hey, I'll see you tomorrow, episode 13. I've got some other funny stuff with a guy who threw a football into the prison. What the hell? It's a cool what the hell moment. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.